Salams and welcome. We are busy now again with the summary of Islam, back to basics, right? In the yesterday's episode, we looked at the Supreme Creator, God most merciful. He created human beings. They made a mistake. The devil misled them. We on the planet Earth doing an exam. Then we're going to return to God. Everybody's going to return to Him. No one can escape, right? Now, today's lesson, the summary of today, very simple and straightforward. God most merciful created us on a process known as the Big Bang. Previously, nothing existed except the Supreme Creator. Nothing else existed except God most merciful, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There was not even a single atom in the universe. No atoms, no molecules, no stars, no planets, no elephants, no giraffe, nothing. That could have been in existence for trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of years. We do not know, because God exists eternally. There is no time and space. We can only talk about time and space after the Big Bang, when the universe came into formation. Before that, it is not appropriate, it's actually nonsensical to talk of time and space, because you can only talk of time and space when the sun, the earth, the planets, all of them come into being, right? So 13.8 billion years ago, by His command known as Kun, God most merciful just had to give a command. Kun fayakun. Be, and it is. It comes into effect, right? Very simple. So thus far we're clear. But this Big Bang brought into existence what is known as matter. Atoms and molecules taking up volume and mass, taking up space. 13.8 billion years ago, out of which 4.5 billion years ago, our Milky Way, our planet Earth has been formed. Very simple, and the universe is still expanding. Are we clear on that? The scientists can only measure this part of the universe, that thing that is made up of atoms and molecules. They cannot measure God, they cannot measure angels, because God and angels are not made up of matter. God is not made up of atoms and molecules. So it is obvious you cannot measure God. You will never find God with your X-ray machines or MRI scanners. It is impossible, because X-ray machines, MRI scanners, audio machines only work on matter. Solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. It does not work in the spiritual dimension. This is where people make a mistake. Just because it does not work on the spiritual dimension, it does not mean that it does not exist. We just don't have the know-how of measuring the spiritual dimension. Your soul, X-ray machine cannot pick up your soul, because your soul is not made up of atoms and molecules. The angels are not made up of atoms and molecules, and God is not made up of atoms and molecules. Are we clear on that? Very simple, right? Simple. Now, there's another interesting thing, that because God created everything, everything belongs to Him. But there's a pendulum effect. Scientists tell us that after this Big Bang, once at the moment the universe is still expanding, but it's going to reach an equilibrium point of maximum expansion, and then it's going to collapse into itself into a massive big black hole, where everything, all atoms and molecules and light, will go back into the origin, and the universe will be plunged into darkness, and that is known as the Big Crunch. So after the Big Bang, when everything is exploded, it is at the moment it's expanding. Once it reaches equilibrium, the entire universe is going to collapse again. Everything will return to the origin, and the entire universe will be plunged in darkness again, and only God will exist once again, because God exists before the before, and He exists after the after. The universe is just a temporary thing in the time scale of the cosmos. That is known as the pendulum effect, and this in Islam is known as inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. To Allah we belong, and to Him is our return. We came from Him through the Big Bang, and we're going to return to Him to the Big Crunch. Are we clear on that? Very simple. Join me in the next episode. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.